Or do you want me to start? Okay, all right, let's get started. You can mute yourself. Thank you, Professor Madhu. Thank you for inviting and thank you for the kind introduction. So let's get started. I'll quickly walk you through the presentation. So you all can see the presentation? Can I get a response? You can see the presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. Yeah. Okay. So let's get started. Thank you. Okay. So I would like to throw a question, and so if I can get a response from a couple of students or faculty members, or I mean, so my question to you is, when do you plan to start a business? This year, before 2025, after 2025, or no serious plans? Can I get a reply, please? Anybody?
Before 2025.
Before 2025, yes. Okay.
After 2025.
Okay.
After 2025.
After. Okay. All right. Anybody else? I think for others, no serious plans. Okay.
After graduation, ma'am.
After graduation. Okay. Fair enough.
After 25, ma'am.
After 25. Great. Okay. So the reason I'm asking you these questions, I'll tell you later. So my next question to you is, can entrepreneurship be taught? Yes or no? Can I get a response, please?
No.
No. Okay. And may I know the reason behind one who said no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. So now I will tell you why I'm asking these questions. Okay. My first question, when are you planning to start your business? And the second question to you is, can entrepreneurship be taught? So the answer is yes. Entrepreneurship can be taught. So there are different elements, there are different aspects, there are different perspectives, right? So when you start a business, or say when you start a venture, so there are different aspects to it. There are different dynamics and different perspectives to the entrepreneurship field. Okay, so starting a business, it needs a business model. Then financial aspect is there. Then you need to prepare the balance sheet. Risk is involved. Then you need to manage people. There are a lot of things, right? So when you talk about entrepreneurship, yes, it can be taught, because you need to prepare your balance sheet. You need to understand how to manage people. You need to understand how we can, proceed with managing managing talent in the world. So there are different aspects to it, and yes, yeah, it can be taught. So let's move to the third slide. Okay, now why start a business? So since I mentioned that yes, it can be taught, because there are different stages of entrepreneurship and different. So now we will discuss about why starting a venture, or rather why starting a startup. So you will be your own boss, right? And I think we all will agree to the statement, जहाँ पे हम जॉब करने जाते हैं, या फिर we are working under XYZ. There are times we feel exhausted. There are times we feel like giving up. There are times we feel like it's not happening, right? So when you can start something on your own, you will be the boss of that area, right? You will be the only person who will take decisions. You will employ people. You will earn money. So there are a lot of things, right? So you really need to. You will not feel that exhausting moment. I don't think you will feel like giving up on like various points. So this is one. Now the idea. So idea कहाँ से आता है? Idea is something we identify problem, and then we come up with a problem, or rather solution, right? So idea is something, it's like day to day activities. It's like our daily life. We see different things happening. Okay, we go through the day, and in the end we summarize and we see, oh, there was a problem, right? Or rather there is a problem, and that's how we identify idea. Okay, now why starting a business? Flexibility and work or life balance. When you see, जब हम ये 9 to 8 का, or rather 9 to 6 का job करते हैं, so it gives a pressure moment, that you have to go, you have to punch, you have to be there, you have to show your face. There is no flexibility. You really cannot balance it, right? When even if you need a holiday or you need a break, but again you have to understand the terms and conditions. You have to ask your boss, him or her, and then you have to plan accordingly, right? But whereas when you are the boss of your own business or venture, the flexibility is more. You can plan things on your own. You don't have to ask him or her. You can balance your life. You can balance your social life. Okay. Now, my last and most important part, money. I think we all do things for money, right? We all are here for money, and ultimately the goal, and ultimately the our goal is money. So how do we multiply it? Okay, so there are different aspects, like when you start a business, when you scale it up, when you bring it to traction, so that's how you earn money. So these are the different aspects of why starting a business. Be your own boss, the idea, flexibility, and the money. Okay, let's get okay. Now, again, I would like to throw a question here, and I expect a response. What is common about them? These are the unicorns, these are the startups. What is common about them? Anybody?
People.
Okay, I'll give you a couple of minutes. Think through it. I'll give you a couple of minutes. I'm not in rush. I really want you guys to understand, go through it, and give a quick response. Take a couple of minutes and think through it. Okay, I can see that. Okay. Anybody else? Here, I want to give you time, couple of minutes to think through it. I really want to hear some responses, which I think is relevant, which I think to some extent is true or relevant. Anybody? All right. So I will tell you what is common about them. So these are startups and these are tech startups. Okay. So basically cloud computing, location-based marketing, teamwork, software. So basically these are tech startups. But what is common about them? So the common thing is, we all know, I'm sure you guys are aware, if not like 2008, there was a crisis, right? International crisis, recession was there. So during international crisis, rather recession, all these startups became big. उन्होंने market hit किया. So this is something common about these startups. ये सारे startups, they all became big during 2008 international crisis. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Can we take the question in the end? I mean, after I complete the presentation, you can jot down your questions, and I'll one by one I'll take up the questions. That works? Yeah. Thank you. All right. So my next slide again portrays why start a business. Now I will talk about two different stages, advantages, and what are the drawbacks. Okay. So again, I did tell you that you're the boss, you're the owner, you're the founder, you're the director. So here you're the boss. But what is the disadvantage? The disadvantage, or rather drawback, is you are alone. Okay. Because you will see there are founders, but they don't have co-founders. There are people, they own the business, they are the leader, they are the own, they run the business, but they are alone. They don't have teammates, they don't have team members. So again, when I say you're the boss, the drawback is you are alone. You're always left alone.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So all profits are yours. Okay. All decisions are yours, because there are sometimes when you feel low, when you feel like, I don't know what is happening, I don't know whether I should proceed, I should step back. So there are times when you feel whether to go ahead, where there is a green signal, there is not. उस केस में क्या होता है कि ultimately it is you, you have to take the decision, you have to take a call, and you ultimately you're the decision maker, and you have to be very prompt. Okay, so this is one of the drawbacks. It can be considered as advantage as well as the drawback, because again, when you say I'm taking the decision, so there is no conflict, right? There is not yes or no, there is only yes or no, right? But the drawback is sometimes you are confused, you might end up losing something, you might end up not planning something or not be prompt. Okay, now when I say all profits are yours, so this is something I'm talking about the positive note. I'm talking on the positive note. Now the drawback, all losses are also yours, right? Because when you are bearing the like जब आप profit ले रहे हैं, तो at the same time, since you're the owner, you're the founder, you're the boss, आपको वो loss करने हैं, right? So this is one of the drawbacks again. Now there will be great variety in roles and tasks. So one of the again, positive point, or the good point is you have different roles, you have different responsibilities, you can take up the different roles and responsibilities, you can plan, you can suppose अगर मेरी expertise social media है तो I can plan accordingly things, right? I don't have to go in the market, look for job opportunities, and land up thinking the day was really not good, right? But here, when you are the boss, you are planning to create a venture, you can plan your responsibilities and roles accordingly. Okay, now the drawback in the contrary, work may not be satisfying. Okay, so now when I say there will be a great variety in roles and tasks. Again, on the contrary, हो सकता है जो काम मैं कर रही हूँ मेरे लिए satisfaction मुझे नहीं हो, right? I may not be satisfied. I might बहुत सारे ऐसे thinking हो सकते हैं, this is not satisfying, this is not something I should be doing. I may feel like giving up. So again, the drawback. Okay. The positive point, increases self-confidence when you do something. So it is all about your expertise, right? Suppose if I'm planning to create a venture right now, so what can it be? It can be something where my expertise lies. It can be something where I'm very, like my confidence is very high. So again, it increases your self-confidence because you are doing something where your interest lies, where the expertise is. Okay. Now, the drawback, you will need to put in long hours. Okay, again, since you are the boss, your company, you're bearing the loss, you're the decision maker, you have to be prompt, so you will need to put in long hours because अपनी business है तो अपने हिसाब से चलानी होती है, right? So that 9 to 8 shift will not work here. So okay, now work can be very. Excuse me. I can hear. Okay. All right. So let's go on. So work can be very satisfying. Okay. And here again, like हो सकता है जो मैंने बोला कि it's about expertise, it's about your interest area. So work can be very satisfying. Suppose if since I mentioned the social media thing, so I know the algorithm, how social media works, LinkedIn works. So it can be very satisfying if I'm doing something in that area. But on the other hand, lack of success will affect self-esteem. Okay. So one point, I'm very confident, it increases self-confidence, but if in case because you're the owner, this is your venture, तो आपका जो confidence है, अगर वो success नहीं मिल रहा है, when we are expecting, तो हमारा जो confidence है, हमारा जो self esteem है, हमारा जो हमारा जो system है, value है, वो बहुत low हो सकता है. तो again in that case you have to be very, very, very strong. You have to push yourself every now and then. You have to push every day. So since we all say every day is a new day, right? So you have to get up again. You have to push yourself and you have to work. Okay. Now, my last point on the positive side is success will give you immense satisfaction. So again, it's something very common. We all know when you are successful, you feel good, you feel positive, you are very confident. It gives you another level of satisfaction which cannot be measured in. So now the drawback is pressures. Will affect social and family life. Exiting the business is difficult. Okay. So I would like to explain all these terms in detail. When I say success will give you immense satisfaction, but on the other hand, exiting the business, why? Because जब आपका success नहीं हो रहा है drawbacks में, तो आपको ऐसा लगता है कि मैं exit करूं. But वहाँ पे एक pain point है. And what is the pain point? You have already invested in your business. You have invested your time. When I say investment, so उसमें बहुत सारे investment होते हैं. Emotional investment, money investment, time investment. Why in emotion? What is emotional investment? When I say emotional investment in business, so emotional investment, this is my baby, I'm nurturing it. This is my own, इस सीड को मैंने जर्मिनेट किया है, इसको नर्चर भी मैं करूंगी, इसमें टाइम इन्वेस्टमेंट भी मेरा है. सो व्हेन आई से इमोशनल इन्वेस्टमेंट, तो you feel feel attached to it. You don't feel like giving it up. तो जब आपका success नहीं होगा, so there will be times you will feel like exiting the business, but it is very difficult and one should not. So my point over here is you will feel like exiting the business, you will feel like giving up, but do not do that. It is difficult. It is even हम अपने job में भी बहुत सारे हमारे time होते हैं, and it is I would rather put it this way. It is one of those days. ये सोचकर हमें उसको side करना चाहिए. So do not give up, do not exit, because it is your investment, time, money, emotions. Okay. Pressure will affect social and family life, yes, because when I say it is my venture, I have to work hard, I have to bring it to traction, I have to scale up my business. So when I say scaling up, it requires a lot of time, investment, your attention. You need to be very careful, you need to be very, very, very attentive. So when I say pressure, तो जब आप attentive होते हैं, so बहुत pressure भी होता है. I remember I have worked with IIM Ahmedabad for 4 years. So I'll tell you one very short, my experience. So while I was interviewed by IIM Ahmedabad dean and a couple of professors, so their last question was, Rachna, tell me, can you handle pressure or you love pressure? Okay. So my answer to them, it was, nobody loves pressure. It's something one should learn to handle pressure. Okay, so that was my reply, and there I clicked the interview, and I have worked with IIM Ahmedabad. I have managed their incubator. Okay, I was there in entrepreneurship department. So again, it's about handling pressure. So it will affect your social life. It will affect your business life. Even right now, I don't get time for my social life. I have to balance, right? So there will be times you will feel like there is no family life, there is no social life. I'm like, I'm getting exhausted, but you have to keep going. Okay, so I think I'm done with this. Why start a business? I have, given मैंने आपको कुछ advantages and drawbacks बताए business to start a business. Okay, so okay. I am sure you guys are aware of these movies, right? Sui Dhaga. किसने देखा है? देखा है या नहीं देखा है? Sui Dhaga, Rocket Singh देखा है?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay. So we will not get into the zone, flop, hit. Okay. Why this slide is here, I'll tell you. So, we talk a lot about heroes, and then we talk about Spider-Man, we talk about, I'm not sure, Batman, right? And there are many heroes, right? But you see, entrepreneurship is a very different world, right? When we talk about entrepreneurship, yes, it has a different meaning, it has a different world, it's a different world rather, and it has different understanding, it has different aspects to it, okay? So you see, even there are movies, they have, where हीरो वो नहीं है जिसने गर्लफ्रेंड को बचाया और हीरोइन को बचाया, और like all those nonsense जहाँ पे they end up fighting and then you become hero, then you feel like, oh, he's the hero, right? You climb mountains, you climb, XYZ, right? So my point over here is basically I'm trying to motivate you, I'm trying to show you the different world, I'm trying to show you the different different scenarios. So here in Sui Dhaga, Rocket Singh, you see, hero उसको भी दिखाया गया है जो एक businessman है, one who can start something. And when I say starting something, it can be small, it can be big, it can be of any size, right? But start something. So here basically I'm pointing out कि hero बस वो नहीं होता है, one who is climbing mountains. You can also be the hero if you're starting something. See, we have like many heroes, say Narayan Murthy in India, right? We have even abroad, you see big ventures like unicorns. We have Mama Earth, we have Varun Alagh from Mama Earth, we have Darwin Box, we have Pharmacy, we have Bill Gates, right? So, well, Bill Gates not in India, but just letting you know, okay? So this is one of the series which I have watched, and it's a much watch series. It's all about entrepreneurship, upstarts, okay? and it is there on OTT platforms. So it's a much-watch series. If you are really interested in entrepreneurship, if you want to know about entrepreneurship, please do watch this one. Okay, again, pictures. Okay, I don't know if you have seen it is again, I think it's the second series bhi aa gayi hai. Again, it's a must watch series, all about entrepreneurship, all about starting up a business, creating a new venture, and land up, calling it startup. So all about entrepreneurship. Okay, now can anyone become an entrepreneur? Can I get a response, please?
Yes.
Okay, and why? May I know the reason?
If they have an idea and they implement it, then they can become one.
They can become an entrepreneur. Okay. Yes. So we just have one, from the crowd who wants to become an entrepreneur. All right. Okay. So yes, anybody can become an entrepreneur. It's a question, and I'm answering this. So, I have taken many sessions. I have gone through sessions. I have been, invited as a jury member, one of the jury members, and then so I have seen, ये question बहुत आता है कि क्या कोई specific personality होती है, क्या कोई specific domain area होता है, is there any specific domain where you have to think and then you have to land up basically concluding ki whether you can become an entrepreneur or not. So my answer to this question is yes, anyone can become an entrepreneur. There is no specific personality. It has to be soft, it has to be, like mild or XYZ, okay, blah, blah. So there is no specific personality, there is no specific domain. You can become an entrepreneur, you can start anything, you can plan anything. You can, अभी जैसे मैंने सुई धागा की बात की, it can be agriculture, it can be fintech, it can be automobile sector, it can be food sector, it can be anything. You're getting my point. It can be anything. There is no specific domain area, there is no personality. I'll tell you, I'm mentoring one of the startups. Right now, I'm mentoring some 100-150 startups. So one of those startups, the startup name is Lunchbox, recently started. Sorry, breakfast it is. It's like breakfast 10 or something. ऐसा उनका कुछ venture नाम है. And very interesting, what exactly they are doing. Now you will ask, what is the difference between them Zomato and what he's doing different? What is specific or whether there is a newness, creativity. So what exactly is his idea about the business model? बहुत short मैं बताती हूँ. So they are only focusing on breakfast because उनका focus है कि जो job पे जाते हैं, जो students होते हैं, जो hostel में रहते हैं, तो when you talk about Zomato, तो we land up ordering those oily food, oily stuff. तो उसका जो target customer है वो है जॉब जो जॉब पे जा रहे हैं, जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, जो हॉस्टल में रहते हैं, एंड फ्रेश फूड. So they're really doing a great job, and matlab, if I can send across the link, you can take a look. And recently started, and उनको कुछ funding भी हुई है. So again, I'm just giving you examples. It can be anything. You अभी आप कुछ सोचो, आपने कुछ अगर देखा, you find a problem, you identify a problem, and you come up with a solution. What is that? वो एक it's an idea, वो एक ideation stage पे है. Now coming to the prototype stage, हम prototype stage पे कब आते हैं? When we think XYZ is the solution. So let's try and give a go ahead to X. And there we start and we create a venture. So that's how we become an entrepreneur. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so what is needed to become an entrepreneur? What are the stages? What needs to be done? what are the things, what are the key pointers, which you really need to keep in mind. Okay, so those are commitment and determination. Okay, again, if you are committing yourself, you are committed, like say, like मैंने 2 startup run किया, and I was always committed that I want to do something. I really don't want to do a 9 to 8 wala job, but I do want to something. I genuinely do want to do something. So even here, you see, even now, I'm responsible for running a full-time program on entrepreneurship here at XLRI. But keeping it aside, I'm also mentoring startups. I've created a venture. I take care. Every now and then मैं उस पे ध्यान देती रहती हूँ. So it's all about commitment. If you are committed towards something, do it. If you are determined, determination is very important. Okay, leadership. I don't have to explain leadership because we all know what is leadership. Who is a leader? Okay. So why leadership in entrepreneurship is important? Because here you're the boss. You're the one who is creating a venture. You're the one who is starting a venture. You have to be very prompt. You cannot be running at snail's pace. Okay. So when I say leadership, you have to be a leader, right? You need to have leadership skills so that you get to know, you land up thinking कि what needs to be done. आज मैंने क्या किया, आज मैंने क्या नहीं किया, मुझे अपनी टीम को कैसे लीड करना है, मुझे अपने आप में कैसे वो लीडरशिप क्वालिटीज को ऐड करना है, all those skills. Okay. Now, opportunity obsession. Okay, so it's a very different term, and I'll tell you, it has a deep understanding and deep meaning. Okay. Opportunity obsession is something. What is an idea? What is a venture? From where do we get an idea? ऐसा तो कोई market नहीं है जहाँ से हम idea लेके आते हैं. So opportunity obsession ये होता है. You just be very focused. Day to day, पूरे दिन क्या चल रहा है, क्या नहीं चल रहा है, कहाँ पे क्या problem हो रही है, कहाँ पे क्या issues हो रहे हैं. Grab the opportunity. Right? Suppose, when I created my venture, it was a problem which I identified, and, I created a venture. So what was that? That was वो एक मेरे लिए opportunity थी, that, I identified a problem, that this is a problem and this is something I can, work on. I can come up with ideas. I can solve a problem. I can, create a venture. So opportunity obsession is something. Just be focused, just keep your eyes open, just your mind, मतलब वो working वो startup mindset होना चाहिए कि यहाँ पे problem है, यहाँ पे क्या होना चाहिए. So just be obsessed with opportunities. Grab it, just grab it. Okay, so my next point is tolerance of risk, ambiguity, and uncertainty. Okay. So ambiguity is clarity, lack of clarity. Okay. So when I say tolerance of risk, ambiguity, and uncertainty, again, it's a business, it's a venture, it is new, creativity, newness, all these words, it sounds very fancy. But on the other hand, there is a risk involved to it. Okay. Lack of clarity, uncertainty. I'm sure when OYO started, okay, when OYO guys, they started OYO, I'm sure उनको भी नहीं पता होगा, कि क्या-क्या risk involved हैं, या rather उन्होंने कुछ risk identify किए होंगे, then lack of clarity, ambiguity, then uncertainty. Because see, even if we talk about life is full of uncertainties. Life is very unpredictable. Same time, when we talk about our business, it is unpredictable, right? All we can do is वो कहते हैं कर्म करो, तो आप अपना काम करते जाओ. Yes, you have to identify risk. One should know what are the risks involved, who all are the competitors. So there are important 2-3 keywords where one should know, while starting a venture, what are the risks involved, who all are the competitors. अगर आप D2C market में हैं, or rather B2C, आपकी कॉम्पिटिटिव एनालिसिस बहुत स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए. यू शुड नो हमारे कौन से बेस्ट 5 कॉम्पिटिटर्स हैं. तो ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर समथिंग you need to be very careful. You need to be aware. You just cannot create a venture without even knowing risk कहाँ पे है, कितना रिस्क है. आपको इन सब चीजों से अवेयर होना पड़ेगा कि वहां पे क्लैरिटी लेगी बहुत स्टेजेस पे, आपको ये one should be aware that uncertainty है यहाँ पे. So when I say I'm using the word tolerance over here. Why tolerance? बहुत बार ऐसा रिस्क होगा जो जो आपको एक्सेप्ट करना होगा. So you need to be that mindset कि I can tolerate this. Again मैंने यहाँ पे mention भी किया था कि pressure, handling pressure or loving pressure. Nobody loves pressure. Even I don't love pressure. Sometimes I feel like, oh man, this is very exhausting. ये नहीं होना चाहिए. So again, it's about handling. One should know how to handle pressure. One should know how to tackle it. आपको वो tolerate करना पड़ेगा. Now it's creativity. Yes, when I say creativity has to be there, because startup is all about creativity. Startup is all about bringing newness. आप कुछ नया क्या करते हैं, आप कुछ अलग क्या करते हैं, do something जो जो अब जैसे मैंने ये बताया, आई एम मेंटरिंग वन ऑफ द स्टार्टअप्स, ब्रेकफास्ट. ओके, सो उन्होंने क्या अलग किया, उन्होंने अपना टारगेट आइडेंटिफाई किया, उन्होंने अपना कस्टमर आइडेंटिफाई किया एंड उन्होंने अपने मार्केट को टैप किया. तो अगेन यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई कि व्हाट डिफरेंट यू कैन डू. यू रियली डोंट हैव टू लाइक लैंड अप थिंकिंग कि climate change, ये वो. Start small. Always start small. You don't have to think that big. Climate, ये वो, this, that. No, start small. Okay. So yes, creativity is one very important point. Okay, self-reliance and ability to adapt. Again, जो भी risk involved है, जो भी हम problems देखेंगे कि this is happening, that is happening. So वो एबिलिटी होनी चाहिए उसको अडेप्ट करने की. वन शुड नो कि अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, एनीथिंग, वेदर इट्स लाइक पॉजिटिव, नेगेटिव, ड्रॉबैक, एडवांटेजेस आर देयर, लर्न टू अडेप्ट. ओके, motivation to excel. Again, like whatever we do, we have to excel. One needs to be very very motivated. मैंने बहुत लोगों से सुना है कि आपका इंस्पिरेशन कौन है, आपका मोटिवेशन क्या है. But I have a different understanding and a different aspect to this word motivation. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, dynamics थोड़े change होते हैं. And what is that? So you need to be motivated every time. You need to be motivated 24/7. Before going to bed, think what you did. क्या सबसे अच्छा किया, क्या सबसे गलत गया. क्या चेंजेस होने चाहिए कल मैं, when I'm starting my day tomorrow, what needs to be done, this, just keep in mind every single day what needs to be done every now and then. So you need to be very very motivated. You really don't have to look for XYZ कि मैं उससे ही motivate होऊंगा और होंगी. तो just keep in mind, self motivation is the most important thing, and be self motivated. अगर मुझे कुछ करना है, tell me one thing. So if I want to do something, okay, if I want to create a venture, or rather I want to become a celebrity, I want to become something, मुझे मोटिवेशन मिल सकता है, मुझे रिसोर्सेज मिल सकते हैं, I can get platforms, I can be invited, but interest is something, it is within, and motivation is something, जब तक आप खुद को पुश नहीं करेंगे, nothing will happen. So again, you have to be self motivated, right? So my next slide. Okay, being an offspring of self-employed parents. So these are the pointers. Becoming an entrepreneur. What are the advantages? What are the highlights? What are the key pointers? So I'm just mentioning. I'm just explaining, going one by one. Okay. So being an offspring of self-employed parents. So this is something, one of the advantages when you see that your parents are self-employed. So it becomes easier, when you see your parents. जब आप किसी को देखते हैं तो again it's इसको आप एक motivation का भी सोच सकते हैं. When you see your parents doing something on their own, they are not self-dependent, they are not, they are not dependent on XYZ company, they are self-employed, they are doing something, they have created something. It can be anything, it can be a shop, it could be anything. Okay, so then you feel motivated, then you feel like doing something that, if my parents can do this, then I will, jump and create something which is version 2.0. So again, one of the advantages, okay. Being fired from more than one job. So what happens, like one job, two job, three job, four jobs. So what happens? You feel like, you feel like, what is happening with me? What is wrong with me? Where I'm going wrong? Kahan pe what are the loopholes? And then you start feeling demotivated. So again, this is the point where you feel like, just keep it aside, create something. So again, there is, यहाँ पे भी एक entrepreneurship aspect है. Keep the job aside and create something. Okay, so being fired from more than one job is one of the key pointers. Being an immigrant, again, if you're from different place and you're coming, and again, you can see the opportunities, you can be obsessed, and one has to be very obsessed when it comes to opportunities. Okay, grab it and do something, create it. Okay, create it basically. Previous employment in a firm with more than 100 people, and now this is one of the very for me, I mean, जब आप किसी कंपनी में होते हैं and you see 200 employees, you see more than 50 people, you see big management, large number of groups or departments. There you learn how to manage people. There you learn how to deal with different minds. So when I say deal with different minds, so क्या होता है कि when we deal with more than 10 people, or when we deal with more than 50 heads, okay, so we see different opinions, we see different mindset, we see different arguments, we get to see a lot of things, right? So basically you learn how to manage people, you learn how to tackle, and when you are creating a venture, that experience counts. जहाँ पे आपने managing firm with more than 100 people देखा, वो experience आप अपनी जगह पे लाते हैं. So it is one of the advantages. If you have worked in a firm where you have seen more than 100 people, or even if it is more than 50 heads, you learn how to manage people, you learn how to tackle, you learn how to read minds. Okay, so this is very important. You have to be very attentive, and you have to read minds, when starting a venture. Being the eldest child in the family, very standard, and like again, it's about creating something. तो जब आप एक को start करते हैं, so you're the pioneer, right? So the younger ones, they will see, like my sister, my brother, he has done this, or rather she has done this. So they feel motivated. So it's something, you're the pioneer. If you want to be the pioneer, you do something. Being a college graduate, so many point यहाँ पे क्यों रखा है मैंने, often heard that entrepreneurs are undergraduates. No, it's a myth. Okay, entrepreneurs are not undergraduates. Yes, there are people जो बहुत early start करते हैं, but I have seen, in fact, majority is they are graduates and then they start a venture, because ultimately the academic part is also important. So ये point मैंने इसलिए रखा था because often heard, again I said that entrepreneurs are undergraduates, so no. Okay, again throwing a question over here. Do you know these names? I mean, anybody, I mean, anyone who knows the names, those who are aware, who is Mr. Dhananjay, then Kamal, then Siddharth, Giri. I mean, and what is the difference? What exactly do they do, and what is common about them? Anybody? I mean, those who know. Can I get a response, please? I'm expecting a reply. All right, okay. So here my slide is all about entrepreneurship versus self-employment, okay? Because one might get confused if it is self-employment, so can it be termed as entrepreneurship, or can him or her be called as entrepreneur, or rather startup? So there is a difference between entrepreneurship and self-employment. So what is common about them? They are quiz masters. Okay, all of them, Dhananjay, Arul, Kamal, Giri, Siddharth, they are quiz masters. What exactly do they do? They conduct quizzes, they run companies, different occasion, different platforms, they run quizzes, they get paid. So what is it? First 3 bullet points and then second 3 bullet points. Okay, so first 3 names are those जो self-employed हैं. Okay, all are quiz masters, but what exactly they do? ये quizzes conduct करते हैं, on different occasions, different platforms. They are invited, they go, they conduct quizzes, and they are paid. So this is first 3 names are self-employed. ये सारे self-employed है, ये खुद से करते हैं, different quizzes and competitions run करते हैं. Okay. Now my second 3 names, Mr. Giri, Siddharth Basu, we all know कौन बनेगा करोड़पति. So when I'm talking second 3 names, they have companies, they run companies, they employ people, they इनके भी quizzes पे companies हैं and startups हैं. So basically all 3 जो ये second 3 names हैं, इनके companies हैं. So what is the difference here? Entrepreneurship and versus self-employment. First 3 names, self-employment. They are self-employed, they go here and there, they are invited, they conduct quizzes. Second 3 names, entrepreneurship. They have created a company, they run their own company, they employ people, and they run quizzes. So this is a difference. I'm moving to the next slide. Now, social impact of entrepreneurship. When we do something, yes, we get influenced, we get affected. It is impactful. Sometimes it is not impactful. So we need to know what is the impact, and basically we all land up thinking social impact. Okay, so here I have mentioned the points which shows social impact of entrepreneurship. And it has very deep understanding. I will tell you one by one. We will we'll go one by one. So first is employment generation. 60% to 110% of new job creation is by firms less than 5 years old. Okay, so when I say this employment generation, what does it mean? So here it defines clearly when you see old companies and when you see companies, or firms or factories or, which are firms which are less than 5 years old, they generate employment, they hire employees. Whereas when you see old companies, उनके बहुत employment generation नहीं होते हैं, वो बहुत कम recruitment करते हैं, because again it's the same thing, पुराने ही चल रहे हैं, and then they don't create opportunities. वो एक ही department में multiple roles involve कर देते हैं. So again there is a difference when we talk about old companies. They don't create employments. When I say they don't create, it doesn't mean I'm sounding, like no, it is not a big no. They do create employments. They do give, they do provide opportunities, but not, the ratio is not same, comparatively when you talk about startups, whereas suppose Mama Earth, it's a venture, a created venture, right? It's a startup. So again, when you talk about new venture, when you talk about startup, when you talk about entrepreneurship, we will create employment, we will create opportunities, we will create new roles, we will create new responsibilities. So here there is a gap, there is a difference, there is a comparison between old and new. And when I say new, so here the new is termed as entrepreneurship, new is termed as new startup. Okay. My second point is distributed development. Okay, what is distributed development? So again, it has a social impact. Okay, connected. So when I say distribution, okay, and development, so distribution and development means, suppose I have X amount, okay, and I have 2 options. So one is X amount can be invested. I can create a venture and I can invest X amount. Whereas hand, I want to set up a factory, could be कोई भी location, and I'm planning to set up a factory or machine, and मैंने अपना वहाँ पे invest कर दिया, ठीक है? But you see, again there are differences, and there are positive side and then negative side. So when I'm talking about distribution and development, मेरे पास X amount है, मैंने startups can be created, मुझे चेन क्रिएट करना है तो मैं डिफरेंट लोकेशंस में उस एक्स अमाउंट को इन्वेस्ट कर सकती हूँ. सपोज मैंने प्लान किया आई वांट टू ओपन अ स्टोर, ओके, सो I can think this I'm talking about from startup perspective, from entrepreneurship perspective. I can invest that X amount in different locations and different stages, at different stages. Okay, I can invest that X amount in different chains, different locations, different stages. Okay, whereas जो फैक्ट्री बनेगी वो एक ही लोकेशन पे होगी, वो एक ही जगह पे होगी, वो जो एक्स अमाउंट होगा वो एक ही फैक्ट्री पे इन्वेस्ट होगा. तो अगेन जब आप कुछ नया क्रिएट करते हैं तो इट हैज जो डायनेमिक्स है वो बदल जाते हैं, एंड व्हेन यू सी, अगर हम कुछ वही मोनोटोनस पुरानी चीजें कर रहे हैं, क्लोथ की फैक्ट्री और से कोई फूड फैक्ट्री, तो वहां पे डायनेमिक्स अलग होते हैं. तो यहाँ पे डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन और डेवलपमेंट का मतलब ये है, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट entrepreneurship, and from entrepreneurship perspective, that X amount can be distributed in different locations and X amount can be invested at various stages in entrepreneurship and creating a venture. Inclusive growth, एक छोटी सी चीज है, you can say positive or negative or mixed, so when we say inclusive growth, when you talk about big companies, so they will hire unko rich experience, they will find and look for people those one, he or she holds rich experience, or there is a certain criteria to it, experience, education, department, domain, there are so many things. Okay, but whereas starting a venture, there is no option. We cannot be very specific, we cannot be criteria base पे हम नहीं करते हैं hiring, so we have to be flexible when it comes to hiring people. New technologies, okay, so this is very important. New technologies, so when we say newness, creativity, it can be new venture, OYO. When you talk about OYO, कोई भी नई जो टेक्नोलॉजी होती है वो नए वेंचर्स ही क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, वो नए स्टार्टअप्स ही क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज कैन नॉट बी क्रिएटेड और developed पुराने कंपनी से. So again, new technology, it has a different meaning. New startup. Minority taste. Now, again, very deep understanding, deep meaning. जब हम लार्ज कंपनीज की बात करते हैं तो हम their focus is products which will cater जो large community है उसका need and requirement को we keep in mind. We are catering large community, we are keeping in mind large community. Whereas when you talk about a startup, and I did tell you, I did mention in one of my slides, start small. So हम वो minority taste को अपने mind में रख के, उनके requirements को रख कर हम proceed कर सकते हैं. Okay, so for example, yoga bar, it became big. ठीक है, so योगा बार कभी भी बड़े कंपनीज ने उसको कंसिडर नहीं किया, और रादर they never thought कि ये एक छोटी सी चीज या एक छोटी सी प्रोडक्ट हम लार्ज कम्युनिटी को कैटर कर सकते हैं. सो अगेन इट्स अबाउट think small, start small, think about minority taste, don't go large community को क्या cater करना है, because already big companies are catering, and then they do keep in mind कि हमें कौन-कौन से products launch करना है. So go with minority taste, go and see and evaluate and review कि कौन से सेक्शन को क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है, एंड अगेन यू कैन देन प्रोसीड व्हाट नीड्स टू बी डन एंड you can proceed accordingly basically. So these are the social impact of entrepreneurship and what goes around. Okay, so here basically I want to show different stages of entrepreneurship, different stages of startup, different stages of creating a ventures, different stages of become an entrepreneur, becoming unicorn. Okay, when I say unicorn, big. So first stage is discovery. Okay, discover, see, keep your eyes open, be focused. I think I have already mentioned this. Just see कि कहाँ पे क्या प्रॉब्लम है, क्या आइडियाज माइंड में आ सकता है, क्या डिफरेंट कर सकते हैं. You guys are, I'm sure you guys stay on campus. I'm not sure whether you stay or not, but even there you see what is going around. We have students here, उन्होंने बहुत सारे problems identify किए हैं college perspective से, and they have come up with different ideas. And recently one of my students, he has launched a venture. So again, it is not always that you have to step out and you have to identify a problem and then you have to work on something and then you have to create a venture. Okay, it's all about discover ideas, discover a problem, find a solution, come up with an idea. So it could be anything. You don't really have to step out and discover. So just discover. So this is one of the most important and basically important stage of an entrepreneur, so that you really don't have to step out. I'm summarizing it. You can find a problem within your community, you can find a solution within a group. Okay, so just you have to be committed, you have to be determined, the dedication has to be there. What is going on. Second stage, once जब आप एक ideation stage पे हैं, which is discovery, उसके बाद comes the second stage. Second stage क्या है? Validation. So the moment your idea is mature, आप तुरंत से उसको validate कीजिए. When I say validation, it's about come up with prototype stage. अगर आपने if it is D2C or it is B2C, जो भी है, जो भी आपका product है, it's an app, it's a website, it's a software, food sector, agriculture, what, do it, implement it, execute it, create prototype. So when I say validate, प्रोटोटाइप स्टेज क्रिएट कीजिए, मार्केट में जाइए, उसको टेस्ट कीजिए, राइट? बिकॉज जब तक आप अपने आप को मार्केट में टेस्ट नहीं करते हैं, यू विल नॉट गेट टू नो वेयर यू आर, वेयर डू यू स्टैंड. बिकॉज इफ यू वांट टू स्टैंड आउट, you have to validate. Okay, now efficiency. Efficiency is connected to validation when I'm talking about prototype product. So now you have to look into the efficiency wala part. What is efficiency? Think about making it cheaper, better, then put more quality in it. So efficiency, प्रोडक्ट, एफिशिएंसी इज इक्वल टू प्रोडक्ट. तो आप अपने प्रोडक्ट को और कैसे बेटर कर सकते हैं? आपने सेकंड स्टेज पे प्रोटोटाइप क्रिएट किया, नाउ थर्ड स्टेज पे मार्केट इवैल्यूएशन के बाद, मार्केट को रिसर्च करने के बाद, कॉम्पिटिटिव एनालिसिस के बाद, identifying your competitors, you will think about creating, putting more quality in it, making a product better, and मार्केट से कंपटीशन करके मैं वो उसकी प्राइसिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. कीप दिस इन माइंड. व्हेन आपका प्रोटोटाइप रेडी हो जाता है एंड आपने रिसर्च कर लिया, आपने वैलिडेट कर लिया, सो वंस द वैलिडेशन स्टेज इज ओवर, यू हैव टू कीप इन माइंड द प्राइसिंग थिंग. एंड वो आता है कॉम्पिटिटिव एनालिसिस से, कॉम्पिटिटर्स के साथ, मार्केट रिसर्च से. सो अगेन एफिशिएंसी, मेक इट बेटर. Now comes the fourth stage, scale. So when I say scale, create more and more. Okay, when you talk about investment, when you talk about investors, when you talk about angel investors, when you talk about mentors, so it has to be mentor-mentee match. It has to be investor and startup match. It cannot be only startup, or it cannot be only investor. Why I'm saying this? आप इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए तभी पिच कीजिए व्हेन यू नो आप बिग हो, बिकॉज आज के टाइम पे बिकॉज ऑलरेडी यूनिकॉर्न्स इतना एग्जिस्ट कर रहे हैं मार्केट में, इनफैक्ट स्मॉल लेवल पे भी इतने स्टार्टअप्स एग्जिस्ट कर रहे हैं जिनकी इन्वेस्टमेंट होती है, तो यू हैव टू बी वेरी क्रिएटिव एंड यू हैव टू थोड़ा आपको प्रोटोटाइप स्टेज से ऊपर होकर आना पड़ेगा इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए। इफ यू वांट योर स्टार्टअप टू बी इन्वेस्टेड, इफ यू वांट टू पिच फॉर देयर डेमो डेज, व्हेन आई से डेमो डेज आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट एंजल इन्वेस्टर्स, so you have to be big, you have to make it more and more. Okay, now the third and now the fifth and the last stage, which I mean we all will understand and we all will agree, profit maximization. So why we are doing this? Because we want to become big. Why we are doing this? Because we want to become an entrepreneur, we want to become fourth, fifth, sixth largest unicorn, or it could be any. So profit maximization is something keep in mind on every stage. Profit maximization, money multiplication, you know, आपको अपना बैलेंस शीट, आपको अपना प्रॉफिट लॉस बहुत केयरफुली हैंडल करना है. You really cannot ignore it. You know, on every stage you have to be very focused and you have to be you know, just मेरा प्रॉफिट क्या हो रहा है, मेरा लॉस क्या हो रहा है, क्या मैक्सिमाइजेशन है, क्या मनी. So basically the term is money multiplication. Keep in mind. Okay. So I'm sorry it's going too long, but I'll try to wind up in next 5 to 10 minutes. So it has a very different understanding. This is theory of entrepreneurship. Okay. I won't say it's different stages, but again, theory of entrepreneurship. Okay. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Okay. Now I'll explain. I'll run you quickly through this slide. Okay. Bird in hand. This is something basically whatever is there आपके पास, उसके साथ स्टार्ट कीजिए, उसके साथ काम कीजिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई वॉन्ट टू प्रिपेयर बिरयानी. ओके, सो आई हैव टू ऑप्शंस. ओके, आई गो टू द मार्केट, आई गेट स्टफ, ओके, एंड आई प्रिपेयर बिरयानी. माई सेकेंड फूड ऑप्शन इज आई वॉन्ट टू प्रिपेयर समथिंग जो मेरे फ्रिज में है. ठीक है, तो मेरे फ्रिज में से फॉर एग्जाम्पल भिंडी है, चावल है, सॉरी भिंडी है, वेजिटेबल्स है, बाहर चावल है, मैं राइस प्रिपेयर करूंगी, सब्जी प्रिपेयर करूंगी, मैं खाऊंगी. सो सेकेंड पॉइंट इज क्रिएटिंग समथिंग जो आपके पास है. ओके, सो अगेन इट डिपेंड्स पर्सन टू पर्सन कि आप किस ऑप्शन पे जाना चाहते हैं. माय सेकंड पॉइंट इज अफोर्डेबल लॉस. डू नॉट कभी भी ओवरबोर्ड नहीं होना है. आपके पास जो है ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए जमीन बेच दिया, ये कर दिया, इतना इन्वेस्ट कर दिया एंड नाउ आई एम लाइक I'm just you know, you will end up thinking this was my biggest mistake, I should have not done this, and so many things, so etc etc. So just keep in mind जो चीज आप अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं आपको उसके साथ ही गो अहेड करना है. आपको कुछ ऐसा नहीं स्पेंड कर देना है और रादर इन्वेस्ट करना है जहां पे आप उसके बियॉन्ड चले जाओ. ओके, the third one, crazy quill. So this is something about creating a team. You know, teamwork is very important. Dealing with D2C or B2C or you know app or anything, it has to be वो टीमवर्क बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, चाहे वो सप्लायर हो, चाहे वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर हो, कोई भी हो. द फोर्थ पॉइंट, लेमिनेट. अगेन ये थोड़ा रेलेवेंट है जो मैंने आपको स्लाइड 4 या 5 को समझाया, 2008 इंटरनेशनल क्राइसिस. आपको मैंने बताया कि दीज आर द टेक स्टार्टअप्स हु बिकेम बिग ड्यूरिंग इंटरनेशनल क्राइसिस. सो बी अपॉर्चुनिटी, वो अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑब्सेशन हमेशा होनी चाहिए. अगर क्राइसिस है, जस्ट सी क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, क्या मैं उस क्राइसिस में कर सकता हूँ, हाउ आई कैन कम अप विद द सॉल्यूशन, हाउ आई कैन आइडेंटिफाई अ प्रॉब्लम, what is the problem. And you know, just like you know, those tech startups became big during international crisis. So fourth one is crisis. Basically crisis में कैसे आपको identify करना है, how to be very careful and how to be aware and how to come up with an idea. So basically fourth is lemonade. Be very careful and create something during crisis. Now fifth and the last theory is pilot in the plane. What is pilot in the plane? So just like, you know, we all know pilot kya karta hai, you know, he controls, you know, he runs. So you're the pilot, you run the venture, you're the boss, you're the owner. So here my understanding and my definition is not ownership or leadership. It is about controlling. आपके हाथ में कंट्रोल पैनल हमेशा होना चाहिए. Whatever you are doing on every stage, at every stage, you need to know कहाँ पे कंट्रोल करना है. It cannot go beyond. You need to know control panel ready है, control कहाँ करना है. So basically, be that control panel, be that pilot. So again, do with what you have. Small bits but many. I'll explain this because it has a different meaning. Small bits but many मतलब छोटे छोटे start करो. बहुत सारी चीजें you can at one go you can start 2 or 3. Small because I already mentioned that start small. So ये नहीं चला तो वो नहीं चला तो ये. Like you can just look for opportunities. ये भी कर सकते हैं because even I have students, मेरे बहुत students हैं वो एक बार में 4 ideas के साथ आते हैं, 5 ideas के साथ आते हैं, and there are some students जिनके पास सिर्फ एक idea है. तो अगर आपके पास ऐसे 4-5 ideas हैं and you can start small. So eye on revenue and profit. I already mentioned this, that keep an eye, be very careful क्या profit हो रहा है, क्या loss हो रहा है. Now the fourth point, track what is important. Okay, it has to be very relevant. It has to be relevant. Okay, if like my domain area is automobile, okay, so मुझे क्या track करना है? मुझे automobile sector track करना है. If my domain area is social media, मुझे क्या track करना है? मुझे सारे social media. I have to just keep an eye on every social media platform, including OTT and every social media platforms. So again, track what is relevant, track what is important. If, the domain, be domain specific. My domain is fintech. To just you have to be relevant. Build partnerships. It's about stakeholders, partners, where you can avail the services, where you can avail the benefits. So you have to build partners around, okay, to avail their benefits. Onboard stakeholders, again, distributors and different suppliers. Keep learning. We all know, one has to. My second last slide is all about reality, 2 different aspects of entrepreneurship. It is very easy to start. Just like I said, the breakfast startup, easy to start, but on the other hand, the meaning of corollary is, it is basically another aspect. Another aspect is it is likely to fall. There are chances you can fail. There are chances you will not succeed. So just keep in mind there are 2 aspects of entrepreneurship. Easy to start, but chances are high and likely to fail. Okay, my last, I'm going to summarize this. My last slide, 7 steps to entrepreneurship. Look at customer problems to identify an idea. And again, just like I mentioned, yoga bars, right? Cater small requirements, see what is needed, see what are the problems, and accordingly just identify the problem, come up with an idea, create a startup and create a solution. Okay, start small. Yes. Yes, and start small. Interns, friends, when I say start small, create a group. You can ask your friend, you can hire interns. You don't really have to invest. Then build, measure, learn, repeat. Focus on customer satisfaction. You have to keep an eye, whether your customer is satisfied. When it is all about product development, it is all about quality improvement. So you have to cater what is needed. You have to see what needs to be done. Validate. I have mentioned this in 2-3 slides. Validation is very important. And scale more, to raise money, to be able to be pitch, to get invested. When वो जब investment की बात आती है, तो scaling is very important so scale up. And okay, so I think I'm done, and thank you so much. Now we can take up the questions. Yeah, sure.
Hi, good afternoon all. Yeah,
Any specific questions means we both can take. I can take up questions. Please come up with your doubts. Any kind of question. Engineers, MBAs, whoever. Please. हाँ बोलिए छोटू जी बोलिए.
मैम
Unmute yourself, please.
Yes, Manas.
और उसमें डाउट लगे कि ये मतलब ऐसे लगता है ना मैम, डाउट लगता है कि ये ठीक हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है. ऐसे लगता है कि ज्यादा लोड हो रहा है कि हम ये सब कैसे मैनेज करेंगे. ऐसे सब कुछ डाउट हो रहा है कि लोगों को भी देखना है, प्रोडक्ट को भी देखना है. तो वो डाउट हुए थे कि सबको एक सीक्वेंस में कैसे मैनेज करेंगे.
All right. So basically, you are talking about handling pressure because बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि give up situations होते हैं. If I am wrong, right? That's what you want to understand. Right, Manas?
Shall I, Rachna?
Yeah. Please, Professor. Please go ahead.
Yes. Actually, he is not talking about this one. He is talking about self-doubt. Am I right, Manas?
नो सर, मतलब अगर हम कुछ कर रहे हैं,
स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं और आपको लगे कि ये सही है कि गलत है, यही ना?
हम ठीक कर रहे हैं या भूल कर रहे हैं, तो मैनेज हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है.
Correct. So just listen to me. Suppose you have started, you are doing engineering or MBA? BTech. Okay. So suppose you have started what branch, Manas? Computer science. Very good. Now you have started a company which is suppose you have started a company which is going to give solutions to banks, right? So once you have started that, then you might have created that, as Madam has told earlier, that you might have identified what is the problem in the banks. Now you cannot go and do software as it is done for by a lot of other software companies, right? So you might have identified the gaps and problems right now what the banks are facing, right? So you have entered into that, right? Now you are having some doubt whether I am doing correct or not. Then there are 2-3 things that you can do to come out with your doubts and come up with the solutions. Number one, you have to approach. Suppose you are a technical guy, you are facing problem in management, then you have to build a team so that your management part will be okay. Number one. Number two, you might have to go to some people. Suppose now you are a student and you have already started, then you have to find out some mentor. Mentoring is very, very important. So you have to find out some mentor who is having some knowledge as well as experience in that field, right? Then he will guide you through and then you will come up with a solution, right? And the third thing that what you can do is you can improve upon your suppose something you do not understand, you want to apply, let's say AI, right? And you do not have ample knowledge of AI, then you have to train yourself in AI and build a team so that you can tackle your problem. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Yes, please.
Yes, Irfan. Irfan, unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my question is, I have idea, but I have not money. Then how can I start my startup as a small level?
Very good. So, will you take a Rachna or Axel?
If you want, you can answer the question, Professor.
Okay. Right. So you are having one idea. Now, first of all, what you have to validate your idea. Validate your idea in the sense that you are thinking that my idea is correct. But how do you know that this idea will work? Okay. So for that, what you need to do, you have to go to your probable customers, right? You have to go to the probable customers. You have to research the market in that how many people you know that may be your customers. तो उनसे आपको जाके बात करना होगा कि भाई हमने ये ऐसा सोचा है, ये क्या आप इसको आप बाई करेंगे, या प्रोडक्ट अगर है, या आइडिया है, या सॉफ्टवेयर है, whatever, or service, right? So this is what I have done. It is different from others, whoever those who are there already in the market, right? So competitors को आपने स्टडी कर लिया है, आइडिया अपना हो गया. अब आपका प्रॉब्लम है कि मेरे को फंड कहां से आएगा. तो फंड देखिए 2-3 तरीका से आता है. Fund, there are sources of fund. First of all, something called your own fund, that is equity, right? So there are two things, equity and debt, right? So debt you can take, a loan you can take from the banks. Debt, there are financial institutions that will, they will ask you the project. आपको project बनाना होगा कि हमको ये business करेंगे, ये करेंगे, और आपको बिजनेस का प्लान बनाना होगा और उनके समक्ष जाके रखना होगा. एंड you actually go and tell your idea, tell your plan, and you need to show that I will be doing a profitable business. In that case, they will give you loan. That is called debt. Then equity. Then in perfect case, equity to debt ratio is very, very important. So you need to take कोई आप मान लीजिए घर लेने जाते हैं, तो लोग क्यों बोलते हैं कि आपको बड़ा अगर कुछ काम करने जा रहे हैं तो उसमें हम लोग को डेट लेना बेटर होता है. क्यों? क्योंकि रिस्क मिनिमाइज हो जाता है. ठीक है. अगर बैंक, फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस के पास ज्यादा मनी है तो वो आपको अगर पैसा दे देता है तो आपका ओन रिस्क जो है मिनिमाइज हो जाता है. इसीलिए, लेकिन आपको भी कुछ अपना लगाना है तो आप कहां से लगाएंगे? देन यू कैन हैव सम एंजल इन्वेस्टर्स और यू कैन बूटस्ट्रैप. पता नहीं मैडम बूटस्ट्रैप के बारे में बताइए कि नहीं. बूटस्ट्रैपिंग इज समथिंग दैट यू हैव कलेक्टेड टू डू न्यू बिजनेस, राइट? बूटस्ट्रैपिंग मीन्स अपने से. करेक्ट. तो इनका क्वेश्चन वही था कि फंड रेजिंग कैसे करेंगे. तो फंड रेजिंग का बहुत सा ये है एस्पेक्ट है जिसमें कि आप फंड रेजिंग कर सकते हैं. सो यू डू नॉट हैव टू वरी अबाउट इट. इफ यू आर पैशनेट अबाउट एनी आइडिया, you just you have to apply there, and then when problem comes, देखिए पॉजिटिव माइंड से जाना होता है. अगर आप पहले सोच लेंगे कि हम काम ही नहीं करेंगे तो क्या होगा? आप स्टार्ट ही नहीं करेंगे. एटलीस्ट स्टार्ट एंड देन सी what are the hurdles coming, right?
Yes sir, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Monday campus.
Subhashis.
Yes.
No.
Even Madhu,
you can come and meet
even
me.
Madhu madam can help. Even if you have valid idea, Madhu madam can help.
Yes.
Okay ma'am.
So you are from which semester?
I am first semester.
You are in first semester, so you can come and meet me, or you can go and meet Girish sir if he is taking your classes.
Okay, ma'am.
कौन लेते हैं? हाँ.
All right.
Girish
Any other
sir,
question?
Sushant Patnaik, anyone who is staying, any other? So Irfan, that we can help.
I think, yeah, we can conclude it. Yeah. No, nothing. I think, thank you so much. It was really amazing interacting with your students and, your faculty members. So thank you once again. I hope, I was able to make you understand different aspects of entrepreneurship and different stages to it.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Madhusmita, for conducting this program, and thank you, resource persons, Rachna, madam. We need more and more of this because these students, as a lot, when I interact with them, yesterday I had a big session in my class in business plan preparation. They have lots of ideas. They want a place. So I've said that you can always meet, have a club of makers club, and keep discussing these ideas. We have lots of students who come with the idea, but they don't know how to go about it. So I think this kind of seminars, we need a many repetitions should happen actually to cover all students many times. Today, somebody is not interested. After 1 month, somebody gets idea and is interested. Then Madhusmita and all the team have to do these things repeatedly,
Right.
so that it becomes like.
You can also conduct, on campus open house competitions, just to, create an awareness and to make sure that students are involving. And
you can organize madam, you can organize also a boot camp. That will be a very good booster for the students.
Yeah.
So they. Great.
Okay.
That will be great. Yeah.
No, we'll keep doing. In a year, 2-3 times we can have. Yeah.
That is important. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Madhusmita madam, Registrar madam, and
Thank you,
Rachna
sir.
also. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.